Hello and welcome to the canal on Vanguard Live. My name is Precious Chukudi and I have with me my co-host. I have with me my first co-host
Damlola Bachaki.
and my second co-host.
Gift Mac.
It's good to have you ladies join me here. And here on the canal, we talk about trending conversations that people want to genuinely have, and and so that they can also air their views and their own very opinion on matters that were brought to the table of the canal. And today, in particular, we're going to be talking about an ex-minister and hotelier who stripped his workers naked, including that three female and a male. And it's a very strong story because it's been everywhere it's been everywhere on social media. People are talking about it. In fact, there's a hashtag for it, which is a hashtag justice for Worry for. I happened back in Worry, and it's a very sad occurrence. Listen to the story in particular. Some of the people's that some of the people involved basically said that one of them in particular said she just even started working there, and it's just been like 10 days or more that she witnessed this occurrence, and the man apparently stripped them naked because of a customer came to lodge. And okay, the room was about 25,000 naira, and maybe he couldn't use his ATM, and they said they didn't have, like, they couldn't do transfer or something like that. And so he volunteered to he said he was going to transfer to one of them's accounts, and so that they can withdraw the money and then pay for the room. I think one of them agreed to drop her account number or so, and then he transferred the money, and then they went to withdraw the money, and so to pay. So with all those things, now the guy was about to leave, so he felt like, these guys, they've tried for me, why don't I just do something nice for them? And then he decided to tip them 5k. I don't even know how the organ knows about it, but I think that maybe he confronted one of the girls, and then she came out and said that the customer gave them 5,000 naira, but the man came from the angle of where he said that they took his money, stripped them naked, collected their ATM cards, and these things were done at gunpoint. Collected their ATM cards and then swiped it all their monies, totaling up to 279,000 naira. So took all their monies and then was accusing them of stealing his own money. Now there's a lot of reactions that have actually come as a result of this story. Like, in this day and age, in this 21st century, people are being exposed to this form of treatment, this form of this type of hard way of working. Because I mean, somebody who just started working there, like, on the 10th of this month, or sorry, on the 8th of this month, has probably spent like about maybe like close to 2 weeks. And it's a new place, and you can imagine that feeling, that ginger. Oh, I've started working, and I can't even wait to earn my salary, as for the first month. And then it's not even up to a month, and you're getting this form of treatment from a place that you have been looking at. Okay, I'm going to get I'm going to get a lot of things from this place. I'm going to learn on the job. I'm going to enjoy working here. I'm going to just enjoy myself while working. And then you get treated in this manner. It's something that is really very strong on the hearts of many Nigerians, and that's why we decided to bring it here on the canal to talk about it. So you've heard my story, and you also know about these stories. This same man in particular has been accused that he does not pay his staff, like he owes them salary, and it's not because he cannot afford it, because he's very popular and he also has businesses that can fend for themselves. He's that big in the industry. So like I would like to get your first reaction on this whole story, Dami.
Okay, when I first saw the story, I don't know how to say the feeling, because when I first saw the pictures of those girls, and I just felt, I don't know, I felt like a sense of shame for this man himself. Because him saying he's trying to disgrace this woman, not only has he exposed his children, like the son that was actually snapping this picture, to other violence. One thing I just looked at now, it's in the mind of that boy. He has just put it into that boy's image now, into that boy's mind now, that women are not supposed to be respected.
Yeah, mentioning the boy, I just remember that I didn't even mention that.
I saw the story.
Yes, that he made his 15-year-old son to,
Snap.
video and also snap these grown men and women. This grown man, rather, because it was just one guy, and women. He made his son snap them and make videos of them, which is really, really appalling.
What we are talking about, where respect is not. Sometimes when we say there's no respect, or this child does not have any respect, this child acts like this, or a certain man or a certain woman treats another person like this, we need to actually find out the roots, where it's coming from. Definitely when this boy grows up, please, what do you want me? How do you want that boy to act? You understand what I'm saying? How do you want the boy to act? Now, and I'm so looking at the perspective from these ladies now. They are trying to look for a job. Now, this lady that just started the work from that hotel like 2 weeks ago, this, a joy turned to a nightmare for her. Will she be able to look for another job another time? Do you understand? Sometimes this is what leads to suicide. This is what leads to suicide. Another thing that I really think right now, if we're talking about this now, the man is supposed to be investigated, because we're talking about gun points. Where did he get the gun? Have you licensed gun in Nigeria?
Well, these guns are from his orderlies. He's not just a small man. He has his police escort, following him up.
This is why sometimes before you actually do some things, forgetting that ex-minister or whoever you are supposed to look at the person's character. That's what we said. So that's what we are saying. Legalizing gun in Nigeria, it's actually going to be a very big crime, and it's going to lead to different things. Imagine this type of man being legalized to actually carry a gun and use it to do anything. What would happen?
All right, let me talk to Gift. Gift, why exactly do you think that powerful Nigerians like to treat their subordinates badly?
In Nigeria here, it just feels like because you are in power, you can do whatever you want, and then you just go free, when you do that. But normally now, this man forcefully collected money from their account. Now you say these people actually stole your money, and then in return, what did you do? You actually stole their money too, because you forcefully took money from their accounts. Do you understand? And then because you are in power, you have securities, maybe you have them, and maybe their guns are licensed, at gunpoint, telling grown-up women to strip, taking pictures of them. What are you doing? Are you taking the law into your own hands? Obviously, he's taking the law into his hands. If he claims that those people actually stole from him, then what stops him from calling the police and then get the case investigated, rather than taking it into his own hands and then making grown-up women and a man to strip? And then the part that actually really, really broke the camel's back is him, involving a 15-year-old boy to stay and see grown-up women naked. Come on, what is the moral he's trying to imbibe in that child?
Let me just, looking at this part, that you might say that him taking the laws in his hand, maybe he's scared that the police, they will just take maybe small thing and just collect it. He's a big man for that matter. Someone that will actually have the money to hurry up the police or of course the officials, that they should investigate this matter very well. So you can't say that you are just scared of them not reaching the right conclusion, of the officials not reaching the right conclusion. You are just trying to prove that yes, I have the power, and I can do whatever I want to do without anybody doing anything.
Exactly.
That is what it is.
Exactly.
All right, so we're still talking about the ex-minister and hotelier who allegedly strip 3 ladies and a man naked because of 5K tip. It's that deep, and let us know what you think in the comment section. Drop your comment, as we would like to take those comments during the course of the show. But then I see a lot of people who have these orderlies, police escorts. You know, once they are, you know, coming on the road, there's this siren blaring, like clear the road. You know, the king is coming, and those kind of things. So a lot of times you see that most people they take advantage of these things, and because they feel like they have police escort, so any man can be a fool.
Exactly.
Anything can happen, I can tell. And then I have a problem with the security agencies themselves, that's like the police, and like the fact that you are assigned to a big man. The fact that I are assigned to a big man does not mean that the main, you know, the primary aim of your duty should be forgotten.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Like, because that's one of the things that we need to really talk about. Like, why do we like to use security agents, you know, to less positioned citizens? Dami, I want you to talk more on that one.
You know, because they feel that, you know, the security agents are people that, of course, Nigerians will fear them more, you know, compared to you just talking like that. And you know, one thing about we Nigerians is that we really don't know our rights. Sometimes we don't know when to talk. We don't know our rights. So sometimes when you know, a security official is just harassing you, you just keep saying, okay, I'm sorry, sir, I'm sorry, ma, even when you are not wrong.
But then don't you think
that is it? So
you know,
that's why I believe that, you know, they are just using the security agents. You know,
but this, you know, this whole harassing thing most times always comes from the fact that a lot of people are scared. You know, you don't want to say anything to a man who has a gun in his hand. You know, you could trigger him. You know, that's why a lot of times you see stories and they say, oh, like triggered drunken, you know, police or something. We just hear things like power drunk police officer or army person, or, you know, just shot someone at that, you know, at that point in time. So aside from the fear in itself, people are, you know, like of not defending themselves. They are scared of what someone who is holding a gun can actually do to them.
Now, let me tell you now, there was an experience I had then at Soya. I was coming from work and I was going home then. I was on my way home, and coming down from the bus stop, I just, you know, my mind just told me to bend down. You know, nothing just happened. I just bent down, and they just shot a gun over my head. So if I was standing, that gun would have hit me. And I stood up immediately, went to confront, you know, the policeman, and I was like, excuse me, you just shot a gun over my head. And the next people were telling me that I'm supposed to be thanking God, I should leave the man alone, instead of me to come be saying that this one is. I went to confront him. You just shot a gun over my head. What if it had hit me? You're not supposed to shoot a gun anyhow, anywhere.
And that explains
you understand?
why.
So that is just an explanation to what it is. You know, just feel like, okay, let me just walk away. He's angry, he might shoot me, and you won't confront that person that moment. That is one thing we just need to look at. We really need to look at the security officials, because you are there. You are supposed to escort, you are supposed to escort this man, and you're also supposed to prevent him from doing something like this.
But that's not
take
the
him to the security because he's your boss. I can't disobey my boss. When your boss is wrong, you should also confront the person and tell the person you're not doing it right.
No, these people are paid. They are paid to actually, you know, protect these officials. So whatever the officials do at that particular point to them is always right.
What if he's pointing it at your head?
That's what they are paid. They feel that's their job, and that's why these officials use them.
He's pointing it at someone else right now. Tomorrow he might point it at you.
All right, let's take some comments on the page as we, you know, discuss further. And this one is from this one is from Nelson. Okay, he says, we talk too much. Is the minister in London? Let's arrest him and persecute him. Is it the one speaking here? If he's the one speaking here, okay. But if the issue is true, then let all lawyers in Delta do their job. Let all lawyers in Delta do their job. And this is from Chris Marayan. Says, those are the type of people we elect to power. How can a country progress with such individuals? Okay, so then still speaking about you know, the security agents, why exactly do we as a people feel like we can take laws into our hands? Now, for example, let me give you a story, because we're talking about this whole incident of where people just because of money they think they are very big, they can silence anybody. So okay, I was listening to someone who was telling me that she went to the popular Balogun market to go buy some things. Coincidentally, at the shop where she was buying something, she had a bag next to her. Same thing that she was buying. Someone else was buying it too. So then she was shopping and then dropping in the bag. So next thing, she just noticed that there was another bag like synonymous with hers, and then she was like, "Which one is my own?" She didn't even bother to check. I think she was already so exhausted, and then she picked the wrong bag. And then she's leaving, and then the lady who owns the actual bag just says, Madam, come. And my bag they carry you. Now my bag they carry. And then she stopped and said, "Oh, sorry, I don't know." She said, I didn't even check. I saw this bag and I just picked, and that was how they just started calling her thief. They started, before 1-2 people had gathered. They started beating this woman, and she even collapsed. It was that collapsed one that even saved her. If not, it would have gone. Like taking laws into our hands, they would have probably started to think of jungle justice, burn her or whatnot. And this was just a clear mistake on its own. So now, still speaking about this same issue, it's clear that the man in question took laws into his hand, because if you feel like these people stole from you, the legit thing to do would have been to, call the authorities or do what you need to do without even getting your hands on them. But having to expose them, make them naked, it was a very, if you see the pictures, they are not something that we would even like to show the public, because it is so dehumanizing in itself. But let's still talk about this whole taking laws in our hand. Gift, what do you think about that?
It's why do we have these laws and have people to execute these laws when we are taking the laws into our own hands? It's I don't know what he was thinking at that point when he took the laws into his hands, but it's something that he's not supposed to do. If he claims that this actually stole from him, good, theft is a crime. So why not involve those in authority, those that actually put in place to handle such cases, instead of taking it into your hands just because you feel you have the power to, or you think you have people that will back you up when you do such things. I think he feels that maybe if I do this thing, I'm a strong man, something, I have people to back me up in it. That's why he felt he could just do it, and then he thinks he can go scot-free with it. But I think at this point, they should really look into this into this matter, and then not just take it as a light thing and let it go.
Okay, let me take some comments still, and this one is from E.G. Dan Ode. Says it takes someone that is broke to dehumanize others like this. This attitude is criminal, barbaric, and totally unacceptable. The ex-minister must be prosecuted and made to pay for his gross abuse of human rights. It's discouraging to work for some private sectors. After draining your energy, they would embarrass you. The cake is not worth the candle at all. This one is from Otumba Kaye Bab. Says we are now collating names of all these people, and we are going to be working with foreign government to have them and their families barred from entering the European Union. I don't know what this person is really saying, but then let me see this one. Someone is saying that I have worked with a man in question. He's so obsessed with people stealing from him. Now, speaking about him being so obsessed with people stealing from him, it's a tip. Sometimes when people do jobs that there's not so much pay on the job, whether it's not something that they want to say that this job is not so much, we won't get so much, but we're expecting tip at the end. It's something that they feel like, who knows, I might just find someone that might just say, oh boy, take this 15 naira, buy pure water, or take 10 naira, those kind of things. Now, can employees peg how much their staff should take as tip from a customer? Like if a customer gives you 200 naira, you say, no, the highest amount of tip you can take in this place is 5 naira.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you think that employees can actually peg an amount that their staff can take as tip?
First of all, I'll talk about that tip itself. Talking about tip is actually a money that you give to an employer in exchange for their good service. You understand? That is what you call tip.
Like an appreciation.
So, like an appreciation, like thank you, apart from the money that you pay.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, do we think? Yes, I think they can. You can tell them, okay, take tips. For example, now there are some countries that tipping is actually legal. Why there are some companies that it's illegal. So what they will do is that your money will actually be high compared to the tips. So no matter what happens, you can't collect any tip because your money is higher. It's just like I think, what is it, the US? I don't know. If you're working for an hour, it's supposed to be maybe I think $2 for people who collect for where you can collect tips. But if you don't want them to collect tips per hour, it's going to be $7.56. You understand what I'm telling you? So you know that you're not collecting tip. This tip, the reason why this tip is actually being brought is that maybe for people who for people that are actually collecting lower than the minimum wage. That is why this idea of tip is coming from. Now we're talking about this man, this company. Now, you are not really paying your employees, you are not really paying them, and you are still not allowing them to collect tip. Collecting tip now, it's now an offense. That is what you are making it. If you know you don't want them to collect tips, you should have told them right from time. Not when they are now collecting tips. You are now, you're not telling them. You're not taking it as an offense. It's just like what happened in the, I think with Davido stuff. I think you can recall that what happened in the, at the airport the other day. I saw the video of the man, pleading with Davido that he should come and help him apologize. He should come and tell them that he didn't beg for money. You just tipped me. You just tipped me. And they just took it like, okay, the airport, and they told him to go and rest. Please, these things, if you don't want your employee to collect tips, put it in their agreement, put it in their employment letter. No tips. You can't collect tips here. So that is when you can know that it's offensive.
All right, Keith, I would like you to respond to what Dami just said about tipping.
Still on this tipping thing, like some companies makes it clear, like don't collect money from our customers. Now, if a company makes that clear,
there's a difference between collecting money from customers and tipping. Now, if you say collect money, is like you're just saying, I beg give us money. Tipping is when people actually give you from the abundance of their hearts.
Like some places you go to, if you when leaving the premises, if you give tip or money, let me use the word money to let me say the security man, and will say, oh, thank you, ma. We don't do that here. I think that's like it's like a rule in the company. Don't collect tips because we are not begging this company. Don't make it look like we're not paying you in this company. So the company will say don't collect tips. Now, if a company says that or adds that as a rule for the employees, then you collect as an employee as an employee of the company. Then I will say it's wrong. But in a situation whereby such was naturally included in the rule or the bargain before you were being employed to the company, then you collect, and it's not wrong. Now, if you see me with an extra money, and okay, let me say a place like a hotel where every customer has their phone number or their address or whatever on the list, and you come to me and be like, sister, they gave me this money as a tip. A customer gave me this money as a tip. I think if you really want to confirm how true that is, you have every right to call the number, call the client, and ask the client if he or she actually really gave me a tip. And you can also ask if I actually begged or it was from the person's heart. The person just gave it to me willingly. So I think you should actually investigate that first before calling me a thief. Okay, so still speaking about this tipping thing, we know that like in supermarkets, sometimes like I know of people who have had like first hand like working experience in supermarkets. Some of them will tell you when you're coming into as an employee, when you're coming into the supermarket to work every day, you would have to write down every amount of money that so if you're coming in with 500 naira, you have to write it down. My name is Precious, I'm bringing 500 naira, and then you sign. So they don't expect you to leave with anything higher than 500, but you can leave with something less, of course, maybe because you're going to buy food to eat or whatnot, and even at that, so there's a stipulated amount that is allowed. So if you bring 500 naira, you can say, okay, hold 200 naira for you to buy food, and it's in a way they feel like it's a way of regulating their staff from having easy access to money. So like if anyone comes and is like, okay, I want to give sorry, we don't collect tips. But then this whole tipping thing is not like maybe it's not like people actually beg to be tipped, although there are places where you see that some people beg brought up and anything for the boys, anything for the girls, give us something now, all those kind of things. But this one is like
you do sometimes you don't even need to do something for anybody. They just see you and be like, guy, come, and they just give you, and then you're like, and it goes off like that.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about this form of approach, sometimes I feel like when you make them stop collecting tips, it's more like you are trying to chase away their destiny.
No, it's not. My friend actually worked in one hotel on the island, and she was telling me that if you collect tips, you're actually supposed to remit it. So every of the employees, they collect their tips. Then at the end, you will sit down, they will calculate that tip and share it among all of them.
Is that a good one?
No, it's actually not a good
Oh.
one. It's not, to me, it might not be a good one to you, but that is another way.
So if I meet someone,
but let me tell you, that's another way. Is it not better than you say that tipping is not allowed? Okay, let's just say tipping is not allowed. It's the rules of your company. Okay, you collected the tip and you came to drop it. You came to drop the tip. That's another thing itself. There are many ways for us to go about this tipping thing, but not for you to just go there and just make someone feel less than a woman. Look, there's just something I'm just looking at now. This ex-minister, please, do you have a wife at home?
Well,
do you have a daughter and you will still go back home and go and look at them?
You know that some persons do not care who is who. Like, once you're not a member of their family, they can treat you anyhow they want to treat you. Now, let's still talk about what we're still saying, and that's like you mentioned, Gift, that the hotelier, what he should have done is investigate, most likely call the customer and say, okay, hello, good to see you, thank you for joining us, or thank you for patronizing us. Did my staff beg you for money or something, instead of going the other way? So what exactly you said that's what you said. What exactly do you think he should have done a step further to avoid things like this?
Like I said, firstly, he was supposed to, call the customer, and then if in a situation whereby the customer says no, rather, I didn't give them any money, then the next thing he would have done was to call the police. Do you understand? Like call the police. I think it's the best way to settle it, because one comment you just read out said the man actually hates somebody stealing from him. So since he's somebody that actually hates somebody stealing from him, I think the next thing he should have done was to call in the police.
But they didn't steal. They did not steal. They were given a tip by like a customer who came, and in fact, if you look at the scenario, a lot of times, like some popular restaurant, if you go to restaurants a lot, you notice that sometimes when you go there and you don't have your ATM card, or you don't have cash, or you have your ATM card and maybe because of all this POS ish, that sometimes you slot in your POS and then it won't work, you'll be like, so that means I can't even buy anything here, you'd have to leave. So to an extent, I think that what the staff did was not ideal, by giving their account number to the customer. But then the company is supposed to have like an account number where customers who are not able to drop cash or use their ATM cards, just what I'm saying, can equally transfer their money, and then there will be someone to say, oh, so person paid this amount of money, just what I'm saying, and then they write it down. But it's crystal clear that this man didn't do any of those things, because I think that if he did that, I know that the customer himself would want to come and clarify the issues, because these people have done him a favor and they do not deserve to be treated in this way.
No, but it's from what you're saying, sometimes you might actually be feeling that they stole that money. You understand? You didn't investigate.
I think 5,000 naira is too little.
From what he's feeling. That is what I'm telling you. From what he's feeling, it's feeling they stole the money. Okay, we know the truth that they didn't steal the money. That's the other employees, they know the truth that they didn't steal. They themselves know they didn't steal. Okay, you feel that. Okay, you're feeling that they stole the money. What's the next thing you should have done? To strip them naked? Or to take them to the right people that will actually investigate
this matter, exactly.
You have a CCTV in your office. Tell them to collect their bank statement.
Okay, so
that is one thing.
Now, let's talk about his 15-year-old son that, apparently he was the one making the videos and everything. And it shows that there is a disorderliness in his parental upbringing, because if you can expose your child to seeing grown-up people naked and making videos of them, what exactly will that child become in the nearest future? Gift, I want to hear your opinion on that matter.
I don't know what he's thinking, but a 15-year-old child, a boy, taking videos, making videos and taking pictures of naked adults. He's actually making the boy to think in a weird. I don't know, but when the boy starts behaving the way he's directed the boy tomorrow, I hope he would sit back and take a cool bottle of wine and say, yeah, I'm proud of this boy. When this boy starts misbehaving tomorrow, I still hope that he will sit down with a glass of wine and say, yes, I'm proud of this boy, because what he's doing is to lead him to a very, very, very wrong path. He's leading this boy to a very wrong path, and then when I just hope he will be comfortable and then relax and enjoy the consequences of that.
Okay, then now you've said what you think that would definitely happen to that child. Now, Dami, the ex-minister himself came out to say that this whole display of all these things that has been happening is as a result of some of his own, political detractors, and know that he wants to run for governorship election in 2023. Now, this is my question. Do you think that a sane young lady who is trying to hustle in life, who actually came with her 2 legs to come and walk in a company, do you understand what I'm saying, would expose her nakedness to the world like that, knowing that that people will see your face, and once they see the face, they can put a name to the face? Do you understand? Do you think that someone in her right thinking sense would want to expose herself in that light?
Well, my answer is no. A sane person. But sometimes in Nigeria we can be insane. But talking about this matter right now, these ladies, they are just starting. They are just starting, and they are just starting in life. They've not really gone anywhere. So looking at it, I don't think these girls will come out and just because some politicians paid them some amount of money, they should go outside and disgrace themselves. On top of what now? Because of how much that you want to go out there and disgrace yourself. At the end of the day, you want to go to another company, or maybe you just make a statement tomorrow. You never can tell. They might actually want to get into politics, and this thing will come back to bite them.
Definitely.
It will come back at them. And you can't say you're just thinking about this moment. What of their family members? I don't know if any of them actually have children, but later on they will have children. And you want them to see this on social media, and you tell them I did it because of money. Then what advice do you want to tell your child? What are you going to tell the people around you? Because I'm sure there are people that are looking up to you,
them,
that
exactly.
see you as a role model. Because take it or leave it, everybody in this life, there's someone that is looking at you as a role model. Even thieves, they have people that are looking at them as role models. So that is it.
Okay, now I would like to ask that this has happened already, and I don't know. Like you made mention of, it changes the psyche of a person.
Of course.
Like imagine you trying to come to work somewhere, and you're hoping that this will be a life-changing opportunity for you, and you're there, and next thing, in space of 10 days of you working there, there's already an accusation of you being a thief. There's already they're already stripping you naked. We know what it does to a person psychologically, especially because right now people are going through a lot. Now my question is, who will speak up for these ladies in this trying time? Who will speak up for this man in his trying time? Who will be the people? Who are the people that we should call out and say, okay, come to our aid and come to our rescue, because we cannot, see these things happening and, keep a closed eye to it. Who are the people that we're going to call for help? Gift.
We have rights activists. Those people should come out and then fight for these people. Like you rightly said, this thing is going to affect them psychologically in future, in terms of them going to look for jobs elsewhere, in terms of them coming out to be something in the country. People always look back to one time this girl or this guy was accused of theft, and then he or she was stripped naked. So this thing actually affects them in so many ways. This will affect them. So I think all those human rights activists, they should come out and then fight for these people. They should come out and fight for these people, fight for their rights. These things, they should not, this act of wickedness should not just be left to just die like that.
All right,
that's what I think.
Dami, what do you think? Who do you think would speak up for these ladies?
Of course, Nigerians should actually speak up for this lady, and let's not just keep it on Twitter and social media and just leave it at hashtag, because we're actually fond of just doing hashtag and just forgetting it like that. So the main thing is, I think the government themselves should be the one to actually come out and speak for them. Of course, the activists, they will do something. And I think also child advocate, they should come out and please go to that child and make sure you talk to the child and tell them and try to correct what has already been done, because there's nothing you can do about that again. You just need to correct
what do you think should be
that child mentality. For the man, it depends on what the government actually want to do to the man, but they should give him the right punishment, because if they don't do this, it's going to keep going on. It's not that he will keep doing it, it's going to keep going on. Of course, more people will come out. Now, relating it to the fact that you are trying to contest and all that, it just feels that you're not remorse and you don't feel, you don't really feel ashamed of what you've done and you don't know. So the best thing is for the government to actually, put up the right punishment for you and for detaining those people, for leaving them in the police station for just days for the crime that they did not commit. And this
and
girls,
even making them write a statement that at gunpoint, making them write statement that is false is a very huge
So
one.
the main thing is that these people, I won't say that they should sue him, because it depends on what they can do. This is Nigeria. The only thing is that we just need to tell them they should do the best. We can't keep curtailing it. That is what I'm telling you. But the main thing is that we need the right people to step up and do what is right, so that these things won't backfire on those people. Because if they come out and sue them, are you sure the right people will handle it? That's one question we need to ask ourselves as Nigerians.
Let me take some comments still, and this is from Obina Onyewuchi. Says, let me tell you the truth. They overuse power. Please, let's get him arrested. And as for me, I would suggest that 25 years in prison. For all I know, there's no reason that gave him that right to treat them like that. And this one is from okay, let me see. This one is from Bright Aze. It says, what's this country Nigeria turning into? The poor masses are being victimized every day. Where are the human rights lawyers? Now I believe that the law is meant for the poor. Why the rich and politicians are above the law? This one is Michael Godfrey saying, tipping is perfectly okay and should be encouraged. It will shock you to know that what people realize in tip at times is bigger than their paycheck. Maybe this could be one of the reasons why they do not want, some companies will not like, people getting tips. And this one is from Frank Anthony. He says, this is one thing we Nigerians are best known for, taking laws into our hand. Lord help us. And this is from Oyenaike. He says, government need to investigate and take a justification look into this matter. We need human rights now. And this one is from Eserogene. Says, the problem we have in Nigeria is that fear not to speak where we should speak. If these said persons that were disgraced are his own children, how would he have taken the matter? I know it would be worse than this. This kind of person cannot be a top leader, not to talk of a governor. And yes, there's a lot of comments. Keep your comments coming, of course, so that we can also see those comments. But like we just said now, people like this cannot go scot-free, because it's a lot on, it's dehumanization on its own. It's like making people feel less of themselves. When people are being called thieves, when there is no form of investigation that has been run to even define if they actually did those things. And also taking people's money too is something that cannot just be swept under the carpet. It's something that should be talked about. It's something that it has saddened every one of us, and that's why the hashtag justice for worry for is all over the place trending. And we just hope, like she mentioned, that it's not going to be something that will just be on the space of the media for a while and then all of a sudden it dies down. We hope that these people will eventually get the right justice that they do deserve, because the effect of this is going to be on them for a long time. It's for some people it's against, I've heard of people who say that it's against their maybe community or their village where they come from, someone to accuse you of being a thief. I've heard people say things like that, let alone of your own person. It's a slap on their integrity, it's a slap on who they represent, it's a slap on what's going to happen to them in their future. So just keep your comments coming, and remember that you can like, you can share, and also subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen, as well as if you want to find out up-to-date trending matters in the country, you can go on our website at www.vanguardngr.com to find out more stories. Till we come your way next time on the canal. My name is Precious Chukudi, and I have with me my first co-host and my second co-host.
It's Mac.
Thank you all for watching. See you next time.